The clinker cooler in our plant is the most critical equipment. So this is our bottleneck at the moment. It's old technology, it's a mechanical cooler. The reliability of the cooler is not very well. We had several downtimes during 2017 and 2018.
I arrived here in Bulacan 2017. Upon my arrival here in Bulacan, we don't have the system before. During that time, until 2018, I think, we have challenges in the cooler.
Problems on reliability and troubleshooting is very, very difficult. Without the data that's actually supporting to do good troubleshooting.
Maybe it's because of the cylinder, maybe it's because of the pump. We don't have concrete area to focus on.
Also in the system, we actually don't know what is the real condition of our hydraulic units.
Our customer, Holcim, in Bulacan here in the Philippines, asked us to provide a solution how they could monitor their clinker cooler in a better way than it is right now. Since we did upgrading on the clinker cooler already, we were able to offer to the customer coding predictive maintenance system.
Therefore, when we upgraded the system, we totally looked at mechanically upgrade the whole cooler. Together with that, we actually upgraded the PLC system, and we also looked additionally to install Odin, that we can actually capture all the data, that we can actually have a self-learning equipment, that we can actually get to know the health of the equipment, what the equipment is doing.
And with that, Holcim gave us a go-ahead to do this project, to do the engineering with the help of Bosch, Rexroth in Singapore and the colleagues in Germany. We were then able to offer the whole system, from installation of the sensors to the commissioning of the whole system, which is now online.
So since we've actually put that in, it's been a journey, a learning journey for us as well. So we actually learned much more of our own equipment that we never used before. We can predict life, we can actually see what's the health of the equipment.
If there is something coming or what we can see some change in values, or we see that the pressure is rising in the clogging indicators or something like that, we inform the customer that the filter has to be changed. With that, of course, we safeguard the system even more than it was before. With that, we know already before the filter will be clogged that it will be happening. The customer can start having spare and can change the filter on time. So the system is safeguarded.
With the system that we have right now, so the troubleshooting is much simplified. It will help us in troubleshooting. And not only in troubleshooting, but preventing the trouble. Actually, it's the bottom line.
Same also for the hydraulic pumps which are installed. We can see, let's say, for example, the case drain flow is rising or the temperature in the pump is rising. With that, we know there is a problem. I can analyze the problem here on my desk, get the parts ready, what I need to do for the service, for the repair.
Welcome back, everyone. In this last session of the Hydraulic Tech Talk, our German duo is teaming up with the region's very own Andrew Lee to bring you our revolutionary connected hydraulics lineup of the Cytro family. Linus will take you around the world with use cases of Cytrobox, and then we'll circle back to Singapore with retrofit use cases of Cytropax and Cytrobox delivered by Andrew. And afterwards, Stefan will tell us about the latest members of the Cytro family. Let us now call our first speaker, Linus Gilbert. Linus in Germany, good morning, guten Morgen. Are you with us now? I would like to call upon Linus Gilbert, our first speaker for today, because we're very excited to know more about the Cytro family, whereas Linus will take us to deliver his remarks on the use cases of Cytrobox, and then we will connect to Andrew Lee in Singapore and back to Stefan Tienen from Germany. And Linus, would you please unmute yourself so we can begin the presentation? Good morning, Linus.
Good morning. Hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear now. Hi.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Okay.
We'll start off by taking over the screen for a minute.
Sure.
And then we'll get right through the interesting things over here.
A lot of interesting things these 2 days.
See my screen at the moment?
Yes.
And myself as well?
We're about to see you in a while. And I see something resembles a 2-door fridge. I was wondering about that.
Exactly. So let me take you into the magic world of connected hydraulics.
Ooh, okay. Take us to the future then.
Yes, so just quickly about myself real fast. My name is Linus Kilberg. I work as a product manager here in Lohr in Germany in our central department, and I work for power units and specifically our new innovative power units. So if you want to contact me, you have my details there, but you don't have to go as far as to Germany to get a professional expert in our connected hydraulics family, because we have also conducted trainings and pointed out experts all over the world, and of course also in the Oceania and Australian regions. So we have 2 local experts with us, and one will be talking here in a few minutes after me, which is Andrew. He's located in Singapore. And we also have Lawrence from Australia with us. So once again, we have a strong team all over the world that can support you with your applications. But enough about us. Let's talk about our products a little bit. So what do we have for you today, and what will I tell you? Well, what you see here on the screen is our new Cytropax and Cytrobox. The one is a small hydraulic power unit, and the other one is in the medium power range. And we have 4 USPs and benefits which we are monitoring and pointing out all the time. We say that the future of hydraulics is very compact. The future of hydraulics is very energy efficient, and the future of hydraulics is of course quiet, and nevertheless, while we're here, it's of course connected. And these 4 USPs are going through, let's say, both of these products. But let me now introduce you shortly to Cytropax, what it really is, and then we'll move over to a bit of application examples and just to point out where really you can see these benefits from a global perspective. So with Cytropax, a new era begin. As I said, it is compact, so it means that it's 50% smaller in installation space compared to a conventional unit. And that means that also are using less oil since it's smaller. So there you have huge potential of saving both oil and space in your factory. The next point is energy efficiency. We're using Cytronics inside, so that means we also have the possibilities to save up to around 80% of the energy used compared to conventional units. With the Cytropax, we can go up to 240 bars, 35 liters per minute you can take out from it, and also 4 kilowatt is the power range we are in. The noise level I mentioned before, of course, on Cytropax is also quiet. So the way we designed it managed us to reduce up to 70% of the noise level compared to a conventional unit. And in the end, it's connected. We have some IO4 readiness inside it that we, of course, want you to use as well. But now let's take a look at some applications example around the world to really display you that what I'm saying is not just words, it actually exists. And I would like to start off in our plant in Ahmedabad in India, where we made a retrofit from a conventional power unit to a Cytropax. And as you can see on the screen here, we have first a usage of 2 kilowatt hours, and then we switch to 0.85 kilowatt hours roughly. And that means we have an energy saving of 70% actually, just by making this small switch from this power unit to a Cytropax. And of course, an additional benefit was that the colleagues in India, they also managed to save 20% of oil. Next, let us jump over to our colleagues in China. There we had a retrofit of a machine tool at a customer. And in the initial setup, we had a 2.2 kilowatt, and as you can see, an 8 cubic pump. The energy consumption per year was around 11,500 kilowatt hours. Once changing to the Cytropax, we ended up with only 3.4 kilowatt hours per year. So that also, once again, means an energy savings of 70%. And also what is really cool here is that you can actually save so much CO2 emissions. And as you see here, 6.4 tons per year, which is quite a lot. So here we also have quite a good return on invest on such a retrofit. It's less than 4 years, which also makes it very good and profitable for you as a customer. Let us move from Asia and jump back to Germany, where we are at the moment. There we have a use case at a machine tool, because this is a very typical example for the Cytropax. It's a turning machine, and it's a very good fit for our product. In this case, when the customer did the exchange, here we also managed to save up to 4.4 kilowatt hours per year. And of course, you have a lot of monetary benefits out of this as well. So the customer actually saved almost or over 700 euros per year just in energy savings. And once again, you see a lot of CO2 reduction here, almost 2 tons of CO2 reduction. And actually, this customer had a very good payoff. So a return on invest for this retrofit beneath 3 years. So once again, this is actually something that will, in the long term, save you money after you're investing in it. Before we end up in Singapore, I would like to jump back once again to our colleagues in China, where we did two internal retrofits in our plant in Wujin. And these 2 examples, as you can see on the screen, we have one with energy savings of 80%, and the bottom right of 81%. So there we really are reaching these numbers which I presented to you before. On the top one, we save over 4 tons CO2 reduction, and yeah, roughly 5,000 kilowatt hours per year. And on the bottom one, it's even more. It's 5.5 ton CO2 emission per year we can save just by making such a simple switch from a conventional power unit to a Cytropax. So what does all of this mean in the big run? Well, if I sum it up, we did some calculations and saw here, based on some internal retrofits, that we can actually, depending on of course the usage of the machine and the utilization, we can save between 7 to roughly 20,000 kilowatt hours per year. So based on an average machine, you save around 10,000 kilowatt hours per year, which is quite a lot of energy used. As I mentioned before, the energy usage also costs money. So therefore, of course, you will also have the possibility to get a return on your invest if you're making a retrofit, for example. But the big point here is really the savings of the CO2 emissions and the energy as well. Depending on where you are in the world, there could also be these carbon credits, which we, for example, have here in Germany. And by reducing your CO2 emission, you will, of course, also reduce the saving or reduce your carbon credit that you're buying. So here we can also see some monetary savings on the CO2 emission side. But I would say enough of the Cytropax at the moment. I know that Andrew will jump back to this. I will now jump over to Cytrobox and give you kind of the same tour. Let's start by taking a look at it. As we heard in the beginning, kind of looks like a fridge, but I promise you, when you open the doors, you will not find milk and eggs in it. There's a hydraulic power unit, which is compacted into the size of a fridge. On the top part, we have our electrical cabinet, and in the bottom part, we do have the hydraulic power unit itself. Everything compacted into these two top and bottom cabinets. So the same USPs goes for Cytrobox as well. We really managed to reduce the size of this power unit. So roughly 75% in oil and also in footprint we can save. So what used to be around 2 square meters of a footprint is now a half square meter. So that means, as I said, 75% of your floor space can be used for something else. And how that was done is due to the CFD simulation. You see the picture of the reservoir here on the screen, where we reduced from 600 liters to only 150 liters if you compare it to a conventional unit. So of course that will save you space. And more importantly, it will save you oil. Next point again is the energy efficiency. There we're also using the Cytronics inside. So here we can also see and enable these very large energy savings, which is good for you and good for the environment. What we can take out in the performance from the Cytrobox is that we have up to 30 kilowatts. We can reach up to 160 liters per minute and 315 bar with one Cytrobox. So both Cytrobox and Cytropax is enabled for retrofit, for using multiple units as well. So that means you can run them as a master slave to increase the performance range. On the connectivity side, here we really have a connected hydraulic power unit. This is something that I will come to later in the presentation. And the last point, the noise level. Here we are keeping beneath 75 dBA. And here in Europe, according to the machinery directive, everything has to be beneath 80 dBA. So this is a very big benefit for our customers to really keep a quiet working environment. Let us then take a quick look into what else is there to the Cytrobox. Well, we have developed our quick commissioning wizard. That means that we've gone from hundreds of pages of documentation and a very complex software to making a simple file, an exe file that you can download, our customer can download, and just open it without any problems. So IndraWorks is not required. You just get to a sync page and you choose installation, this will then step by step guide you from, let's say, the physical installation, how to set it up, also to the end of the commissioning of your Cytrobox. And this is all based on the type code. So it really knows, it's a smart wizard, it knows what is inside your specific Cytrobox. You come to the end, and then you can view and adjust your parameters as you need it directly in the tool. Simple as that. But let me now take you to a couple of use cases as well for the Cytrobox, just to prove that this is also functioning. It's not only the Cytropax that is proven now. So what you see here is a comparison at one of our pilot customers in a tire press. So we manage, if you study the tables on the left, you can see that we managed to reduce the pump size from 100 ccm to 63 ccm, but we still managed to increase the maximum flow we can take out from the pump. And what about the energy usage? Well, taking a look at this graph, the red curve is the old curve, and the blue one is our new Cytrobox. Here we managed to save 62% for the customer on this load cycle. And this is giving us the base for a return on invest for 3 years with this retrofit at this customer as well. Let us take a quick jump back to Asia, once again to our colleagues in our plant in Wujin, which made a retrofit. There we can see an energy saving on roughly 47%, but also very interesting here, as you can see at the bottom, the noise level is reduced by 12 dBA. And for those of you who work with this, you know that 12 dBA is very much. It doesn't sound that much, but it is a lot. From 74 only down to 62 dBA. One of the last success stories I would like to show you is actually at a customer in Spain. So now we're back in Europe. As you can see, we're already all over the world with our products. And what was done here? Well, the customer actually replaced 3 conventional power units with 1 Cytrobox. Of course, that gives you a lot of space saving, sorry. And if you're looking at this, we had 90% space saving. But not only that, the Cytrobox also has never stopped for this 1 year after commissioning. The return on invest was already 80% after only 1 year. And they came to a better point for the oil temperature. They reduced it of 20 degrees from 60 to 40. So also energy savings was above 50%. And in the end, they also reduced the noise level, so they managed to take away these noise encapsulament in the factory, which you can see in the middle picture. And that, of course, also decreases the temperature in this area. Now, to finish off, I would just like to come to our Cyto Connect, which is one of the connectivity features in the Cytrobox. So what we are doing and offering with the Cytrobox is we have packed it with sensors, more than you need probably, but we can offer it. And here we can offer you to have a web-based access. It doesn't matter, you don't have to have any specific hardware or software. You can use your phone, you can use your tablet, your computer, you can use anything to log into this. It's free of charge for the monitoring version, which is the freemium version inside the Cytrobox. It's always included. And you also get access to your 24-hour historical data. But it doesn't stop there. We also can offer some add-on packages. That means with our add-on packages maintained, will have full access to all your data. You get a rule-based analysis of the components and direct notifications and warnings if something is wrong. And let me now show you a quick example for what this did to one of our customers. So the customer had a very small leak in the system. They didn't see it themselves. But thanks to Cyto Connect, we could monitor and see, hey, this is actually now over time losing oil, as you can see on the graph. It's very little, but over time, of course, it takes out a lot of oil in the system. So once the customer left the recommended operation range, they got a notification and they managed to then refill their oil. So as you can see here on the bottom left, the customer refilled the oil because they got this warning. Hey, please, your oil is leaving the recommended usage, please refill. So customer managed to detect this leak in the system and repair it without anything getting damaged. Another good example for this notification is our the rule for this rule-based procedure is also our pump leakage sensor. Because by monitoring the pump, we can see and feel how your system is doing. So as you can see here, you have an exponential increasing curve. And this is also done at a customer where we managed to send them a message first. Hey, you're now getting a warning because you're leaving recommended operation range. Customer kept going. We sent them a second message. Hey, now this is an alert. You're out of range. Please shut down. Please shut down the Cytropax. And from there, we managed to stop the customer's system and repair the pump with only small measurement. And to come to my last point here, it's good for your pocket, it's good for the environment. And what does that mean? Well, as you can see here, the total cost of ownership is usually less in a period of 2 years by going with this connected hydraulics than with a conventional unit. Due to the savings in the commissioning and during the operational time, you save on energy, oil usage, cooling inside your system. And in the commissioning, you have a shorter commissioning time because it's plug and play. So over a period of 2 years, you'll have a return on invest. And as I said, good for the environment. We ourselves, as Bosch, we've set us the target that we will save 1.7 terawatt hours.
Ini lagi jelasin soal our apology for the technical difficulties that we're having here in the studio. We are going to get back to Linus in a few moments, but to sum up what Linus just presented to us is about Cytropax with the space-saving design, fully equipped for Industry 4.0. And ladies and gentlemen, as Linus just mentioned, we'll be in touch with Andrew Lee from Singapore. And Andrew Lee here is going to present to us the services of the CytroFamily, as well as the testimonies from our lovely customers. Andrew, are you with us? Hello.
Hi, hello, Yana.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Great.
Fine, getting ready.
Yeah, we all geared up to hear what your presentation is all about because CytroFamily is one of the now next beyond technology, and we're excited to get to know more about the solution that is being offered by Bosch Rexroth. While we're waiting in the studio, I would like to remind that all of our audience here, you could throw us the questions. Our speakers here is very much ready to answer all of your burning questions regarding of our services, our capabilities, and of course our products. So looking forward for more of your questions later on in the Q&A session. I guess Andrew is ready to begin your presentation. All right.
Yes, we are ready.
But now we are still getting ready here in the studio because all of the technical, the technical issues to make the experience more delightful for all of our audience here. Okay. That we're going to Stefan first. Wait up. Before we listen to the presentation from Andrew Lee. So please hold up, ladies and gentlemen. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. You're still with us in Rexroth Live. We're live from Jakarta, Indonesia. How's everyone doing? I hope you're feeling great because great news coming up. Linus is actually back with us on air. Hi Linus. Are you looking for the eggs and milk? Have you found it? No, yeah, because it's Cytropax, it's not a fridge. Okay. So, Linus, we're wondering whether you want to proceed with your presentation or should we move along with the next presenter?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear now.
So, my question is, where did we get cut off? What happened?
Okay, the last slide was in the page. Last slide, we're going to show it to you on the screen. Terribly sorry for the inconvenience to Linus and all of our audience. We're getting ready. And we should start from your last two slides.
So the last two slides with the presentation about the total cost of ownership.
Total cost of ownership.
Okay, then that's where we'll go from.
Okay, probably because of the limited time we've got, kindly wrap up on the presentation. So we could proceed to the next presenter. and the rest of the family.
So now you should be able to see both me and the screen, yes?
I think we're going to connect to your screen, and it is not yet. We're still getting ready for your presentation because we cannot wait to meet all of the Cytro family here. And as Linus just presented to us about Cytropax, which is the space-saving design, fully equipped, and Industry 4.0 already. Now we're back to your slides. Linus, take the floor.
Okay, great. So I hope you heard the features about the Cyto Connect already. If not, I would hope that you get back to us after this, due to the point that we're under some time pressure. I did the whole presentation. Sorry, I did not know that we were cut off, but let me just finish off by saying and summarizing that, so the CytroFamily, the connected hydraulics, is both good for your pocket and good for the environment. Because by looking at the TCO, the total cost of ownership for a Cytropax, for example, then we see that the total cost of ownership, roughly in a period of 2 years, is less than by using a conventional unit. That means because due to all the reduction in commissioning time, you have the plug-and-play installation, you have the low oil costs for starting up the units, and during the operational time, you also save on oil usage, a lot of energy, as we've seen in the examples. You can save also on installed cooling in the facilities, and of course on maintenance. Since we're monitoring the components, we also know, of course, when you need to switch them and that you don't need to switch them just because you think they're broken, but maybe they're not. And as I mentioned, good for the environment. So Bosch, we have set ourselves a target to, by 2030, reach the goals of saving 1.7 terawatt hours. And that means energy efficiency is the key. So with those words, I would like to summarize the Cytropax and Cytrobox and say that the future starts now. And after all the examples we see now, I would like to circulate back to Singapore and to Anglo. Thank you very much. So back to the studio.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you, Linus, for the very informative presentation. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TZAZ Hydraulic Tech Talk 2021. My name is Andrew. I'm from the sales team in Singapore. And I'm looking forward to talk about retrofitting with connected hydraulics today with a few ongoing projects happening right now. Did you know that in the modern manufacturing setting, movement is everything along with resulting data? Little thought is given to hydraulic technology, that is until drive physics comes into play. This is when hydraulic technology comes into its own, managing large forces and delivering robust performance. With connected hydraulics, we can demonstrate how the latest smart hydraulics are more versatile and cost-effective than you ever imagined. Next slide. Let's recap the 4 unique selling points from the Cytrobox and also for the Cytropax, where we are looking into compactness, energy efficiency, connectivity, and of course, a very quiet power unit. Earlier of the day, we have seen some interesting projects, especially on the meat processing application. And in the upcoming slides, we get to see how this will benefit user and maximize the efficiency further. With this, let's dive into the next few ongoing projects that are still currently being examined as we speak, and one of them is actually, in fact, carrying out commissioning and testing right at this very moment. Next slide, thanks. First, we are retrofitting an injection molding machine with Cytropax. Customers is encountering issues and require a quick inspection to rectify problems on their conventional power unit as you've seen here. However, time is critical, especially when you have a production schedule to rush and to check whether is it a pump issue, a leakage somewhere down the line, and it takes time to isolate the system and finding out the cause. Especially dismantling on site will be a challenge with applications ongoing and pipe and hoses running here and there. Next slide. To quickly resolve customer issue, we propose the Cytropax solution, which fits perfectly fine in the machine's requirements. As you all know that the high dynamic is required during the procedure, and once the mold is in position, a high pressure is required to hold with a minimum flow. And upon releasing, high speed kicks in with a less force in place. This is where the Cytropax offer maximum dynamics with efficiency. And best of all, we're able to get the Cytropax from stock directly from factory to quickly get into the production line up and running. Next slide. As you can see, side by side, the conventional power unit, comparing with the Cytropax, where the latter demonstrate the compactness of the unit, where it can be easily shifted from place to place. Also, you will notice how much lesser component there is now, with a reduced oil tank and a smaller control panel. Also, a hidden cooling unit if you are sharp enough, and of course, and a smaller return line filter unit. This shows how much space saving it is. Basically, it's just a plug and play unit. I would also like to emphasize that noise was also greatly reduced, as was the power consumption, when multiple conventional unit is replaced with Cytropax. Next slide. This can also be further upgraded with visual information on board for customer to view. Cytropax can even recognize wear before it leads to the system failure, notifying maintenance personnel or higher level monitoring system about actions required based on the condition detected. Next slide. Also, to enable customer ease of use, we conduct hands-on training to configure real-time system using the software wizard to demonstrate how easily this can be configured with the data inputs and running the Cytropax physically. You'll be amazed how it is easy to have it configured to your requirements. We are supposed to have our customers to share with you audience from their perspective before and after implementing the Cytropax solution and experience of the software usage. Unfortunately, due to the tight project schedule, they are unable to join us here. So I have asked them, is there anything I can speak on their behalf? They tell me, Andrew, they will let Action do the speaking. So here, take my PO and deliver within schedule. Next slide. So here we have the first batch out of the 14 units that we are preparing to pack and deliver. We show customers satisfactions with the solution presented to resolve their issues at the quickest time with the connected hydraulics team. Next. Next, we have a sharing machine retrofit with upgrading with additional add-ons requirement on the Cytropax. This is another interesting request from our good customer where they would like to fully retrofit and upgrade their pneumatic system to run with hydraulic instead, with precise control at different angle and also add on additional hydraulic control in the system. This is where the challenge comes. As you know, usually in pneumatics, runs at a very low pressure. In this case, about a 10 to 20 bar is required with variable flow. To handle customer thickness of sample that requires to be rolled or cut, and additional requirements to perform with different sequence in the system, which have a very large pressure range that goes up to 120 bar in this case from 10 bar. There's a few ways we can work with conventional power unit, but may not be as efficient for such configuration. Next. This is where the Cytropax comes in handy. As you can see from the specification and graph, that it can fit perfectly fine within a range of 10 to 20 bar with a flow as low as 2 liters per minute. And we can also utilize the higher pressure requirement of 120 bar and up to 14 liters in this case, depending on what parameters is required that can be configured within the graph and specification of the customers. I know the values may be a bit small in the slides, but audience, please contact me and allow me to show you more in high definition on the CytroFamily. So with IoT ready, customers are able to link their PLC and program their control philosophy to help the Cytropax activate the parameters to suit their requirements for different samples and components in this case. Next. As you can see, space is also very limited. Luckily, Cytropax is compact enough to house inside the opening of the machine, where you can see how limited the space is and how compact and how the Cytropax just fits so nicely in position. And of course, the quietness of the unit, you may have a hard time trying to locate the HPQ with the door closed. Next slide. Another subject we have to tackle is the lacking of cold water supply to the cooler from customers. Unlike the previous project where cooling tower is available, fear not, as we can easily add on additional integrated cooler for those users that are unable to supply water externally. As you can see here, it fits nicely integrated with the Cytropax, and also it is as quiet as the unit itself with less than 60 decibel. As we speak, this unit is being hooked up and getting ready for action. Previous slide. Yeah. For those who have attended last year's Tech Talk will find this familiar, as this is a solution presented in the pipeline to deliver for Cytrobox, next up and coming sexy HPU. However, due to the pandemic, project was slightly shift, and here we are at the last phase of commissioning this unit, which we are retrofitting and equipment testing machine with Cytrobox. To recap, from this slide, this is a press testing application for testing numerous type of components at different speed at pressure. With the conventional HPU, as you've seen, is housed separately away from the machine due to its size and noise. What we have achieved to user requirements on space saving of the power unit, reduction of noise level, where it can position right beside the unit, predictive maintenance, energy saving, and of course, shorter commissioning time frame. Yeah. Next slide. Another challenge we have to overcome will be the large volume of the cylinder as shown here. We have to ensure the oscillating volume does not exceed 50 liters. This was further tested and verified with the actual cylinder. So you can see with such a small tank and how big the cylinder is. Next slide. Thanks to the computational fluid dynamics modeling, the CFD simulation optimizing the oil reservoir and use only what is required in the system itself. The oil tank volume is greatly reduced by 75% from 600 liters to a mere 150 liters in this case, based on a working flow of up to 160 liters per minute. In any case, if the exchange volume is more than 50 liters, we can always add on the additional oil tank to take care of the additional volume if bigger cylinders is being used for in the future. Next slide. With the actual unit CytroBox, you can visualize how much reduction it is compared with the original power unit, if you can see at the top left-hand corner. Now, with the CytroBox, it can be installed just right beside the machine for more accessibility, saving space, and more importantly, it is very quiet. As you can see, as this CytroBox is on the way onto the site, here we have superimposed the image to show you how actually the CytroBox will appear right beside the equipment. So you can see this is a CytroBox. You can see compare the height and the size, how actually compact it is compared to the actual conventional HPU. Next slide. Same as the previous application, it can allow user to control and input program to suit the application requirement, and also dashboard that can show maintenance technician all the relevant parameters and provide important maintenance instructions. This includes performance and operating data, oil level, oil quality, temperature over time, and user can have all this information regarding the CytroBox at their fingertips at all times, anywhere. Planning for their next maintenance or alerts on any unusual data activities. Next. Last but not least, we too can work on the Cytronic solutions where the parameters requirement cover a wider range for users to upgrade directly in their existing system, where we provide a one-stop solution and cover the whole range for our customers. With this approach, we replace the classic valve technology through a drive system based on a motor pump assembly with a high functionality power density. Depending on the system, the Cytronic variable speed pump system consists essentially of a drive unit equipped with frequency converter. A control electronics share the equivalent philosophy inside of CytroBox and CytroPax, together standard or with servo motor and hydraulic pump, where flow rate of the hydraulic pumps operate proportionally to the drive control of the electrical motor, and the system pressure is measured by the pressure transducer sending to the servo controller, and based on the control deviation, the built-in PID controller calculates the required motor speed and adapts it accordingly to the existing system requirements of the flow rate and pressure. Next slide. What it brings to simplify customer design, to streamline customer installation, minimize your downtime, and maximize your productivity. From these advantages, you can also see that this also will reduce the noise level, downsizing the components, maximizing efficiency, and also allow system monitoring. Next slide. This Cytronic setup was to allow different pressure setting for various types of pin insert. As you see, looks very similar to the conventional power unit, but in fact has been reduced in size and noise comparing to the actual power requirement. To round this up, let's take a look physically at the CytroBox and the CytroPax and how easily it can do. But customers, important, before you open the cabinet, do switch off the power. So we can take a look. Don't expect to find a beer inside. I know you're expecting. look at how the presentation and how compact it is with the inverter drive systems. And here, where you see the compactness of the drive unit and the hydraulic oil tank is just right behind this system itself. So you can see how compact and nicely assembled in the Cytro box itself. All right, next we have the Cytropax. As you can see here, how compact the Cytropax is and with the ease of use. So previously we have mentioned how easy it is to input the parameters. So I will just share with you just with a few clicks of commands. Example, what we see from this, it shows you on your effective flow command, effective pressure, with the actual velocity and the actual pressure. So to change the flow, you just hit the tab. All right, key in the parameters in RPM related to the flow that you require, and boom, back, you get the values change. And for pressure command, it's the same. Where you click, there's a 4 command setting that allows you to change and also easily being changed in the values over here. All right, so with this, before setting up, you can show it's very easy to get information being inserted with the help of the user. The futures of connected hydraulics starts now. And next up and coming, Stefan will share with you the latest CytroForce. We move, you win. Thank you. The stage is yours, Stefan. Oh, huh? Okay. Finally fit.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I just start. Let's hope everything works well. Welcome also from my side. I'm Stefan Thieden. I'm also here in Lohr, like Linus, and I'm representing here the CytoForce. I'm the product manager of this product, and I'm happy to present you this time, take the chance to show you the new product. We have launched this product last year, and it's a servo hydraulic axis, and we have done before already several servo hydraulic axes, and yeah, we thought it's time now to go on and don't do it only like an ETO, like we have done it before. Now we try to do it like a product. Okay, like a customer product that you can order more or less directly from catalog. So that's the idea behind it. And with this, we wanted to be fast. We wanted to give you fast access to this product. For example, the delivery time is 12 weeks. So we speed up also here. And sure, we would also like to be smart. So you don't need to have any hydraulic expertise for this product. I think that's an important thing, especially you will see later that we are doing sometimes a competition between linear drives and hydraulic drives. And for sure, it should be efficient. Also, the colleagues have just mentioned already a lot of things about efficiency. At the end, I will also come to the topics. And for sure, we are also getting modern, and we jump on and fulfill the new Industry 4.0 technology. Okay. I try to be louder. Okay. Yes, when you go and think about a standard hydraulic system, what you normally have is you have an HPU, you have a block, you have piping and so on. But most important for you as a customer is that you have in focus your movement. That means the cylinder. So that's why it's put out there a little bit. And at the end, the rest it's yeah, not so important at the end because it just helps you to fulfill the movement. And the point what we want to proceed here, we put everything of what you normally use for a hydraulic system into one system, and that's what you see on the right side, the Cyto Force. And yeah, with this, we thought it makes no sense to have the same size. Yeah? So we try also for sure to fit everything into a very small thing. How we have done this? Yeah, one topic is we have reduced radically the oil. So the only oil we have is the oil in the system. And we don't have any tank or something like this. And that brings us directly to the second benefit. You don't need any piping. When you order the system, you get it completely filled. You just need to put it into your system or into your machine and connect it with cables, and you can directly start to run it. Normally, you have a lot of piping to do, which brings you also, when you look to the total cost of ownership, a lot of money into your system, and you're also not flexible. If you think in the future, if you want to change your machine and think about new styles of fabrication, where a lot of products are changing over the time, and you need to rearrange your machines with piping, you are not so flexible. Here, you just handle the axis like an electrical axis. You have just the power supply by electrical cable. So, and that brings us to the point that you save a lot of oil, you save a lot of space also. The energy costs are going down. Also here, just like mentioned Linus before already, we are using the Cytronic system inside. So at the end, also here, we are saving a lot of energy and CO2. But as I mentioned before, we are not only looking into hydraulic, often we are competing now into systems with electromechanical. Because more and more younger people and younger generation think more in the electrical way, and an electromechanical axis is easy to install. Yeah? You just put power on, electrical power, and it can run. And so that's, like I mentioned before, also the positive thing on our servo-hydraulic axis. But we have done also some other competition in comparison. One is, usually hydraulic is mentioned to have a lot of some oil leakage and all the stuffs, and oil is running around. Yes and no. I mean, it depends also on how you treat your machine. But on the other side, in normal way, we don't have leakage, and that's also what we have here in our hydraulic system, CytoForce. Everything is very compact, and we don't have a lot of pipes and so on. We have a lot of fittings. So on the other hand, the electric mechanical axis, they have one problem, what we sometimes face. Customers are coming to us and asking, can we not do it in hydraulic? It's not only because of the power. It's also because how often you are using your system, what kind of cycle you are using. It's the wearing of the screw bolts. And so after some time, the spindles you need to take out and replace them. Sometimes even after shorter than 1 year. And if you count this all up into TCO comparison, then a CytoForce might be much cheaper. In hydraulic, we don't have this problem because of our compression of oil. So, and if you take all these benefits together and think about that we have the oil not leaking. The second is, on the other side, on the electromechanical axis, we have done some comparison. You have a lot of grease that is going around. So for example, one comparison we have done is on an SHA, we have something like 4 or 5 liters. And on the other, we compared one customer project, you had up to 14-liter grease within 1 year using. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff going around in your machine you don't want to have there, you need to clean up. So a lot of benefits, I would say, compared to electromechanical solutions. So what is it? What kind of system we are having here? What kind of products? How it looks like? We have 2 kinds of products. We wanted to have a very, very compact design that you see on the right side. is our CytoForce integrated. And this one can get so compact because we have done a 3D sand core block. So it's cast in our foundry here. And with the 3D printing of the sand core, we could doing totally different structures inside the block, what you can normally do with a drill block here on the left side. And with this, you have a lot of benefits. For example, we could do a lot of more integration into the block. For example, the filter is also integrated in the block, in the integrated one. And on the split one, we have to put it just standard, the block mounted. Okay. So another benefit is, for sure, you could do a lot of losses inside the block, hydraulic losses, delta P's. You can reduce them a lot by optimizing your flow, and this we have done there also. And for sure, we have made it also, I think, quite nice. And at the end, I mentioned also before already, the sexy product. So that's the integrated one. And on the left side, depending on what kind of your machine type you have, we have also the standard hydraulic block, which is normally drilled. And this we offer also. And, that is the two ways we are offering. Now we come to the other point. I mean, we wanted to have a very flexible system on how we have done it. So there's different ways how you can do it, and we have a lot of options. And turn it 180 degrees, for example. You can mount it on the bottom or on the of the block. So there's a lot of options you can into, so you are flexible on this side.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties, which may mean you are unable to access our meeting room. And of course, we are working as quickly as possible to resolve the issue. And apologies for any inconvenience caused. Once again, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Thank you so much for your patience and cooperation. You're back at Hydraulic Tech Talk, presented to you by Rexroth Live, and we are still connected to Germany. Stefan, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear now. Hopefully there will be no hurdle during your presentation, because we're very looking forward to get to know more about the CytroFamily. So once again, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. We try also on our side our best to get the system running. Sorry also from our side here in Germany. Okay, I just was in the switch over to the tandem cylinder, and I changed also the slide. On the tandem cylinder, I mentioned before, we have this 2 cylinders add-on. And yeah, here you can see also, because we have a fast speed and a slow speed, so your diagram is a little bit more complex, let's say. Yeah, you need to check both ways. But you can very easily see here that when you're doing faster speed, you have a lower tonnage, but when you switch, you get a higher tonnage with a slower speed. So that is so far easily to see. We can do up to 100 tons here on this way, and yeah, also here you can see the speed is going a little bit down when you get higher tonnage. Yeah, that's the way principle of the system. The benefit here also of the tandem cylinder is you have less accumulator space or volume, because you can shift some of the oil directly into the other cylinder, the second one behind. So you're always changing there a little bit and using the cylinders also kind of accumulator storage. So yeah, go forward. Okay, I do it by hand. The next, I would like to show you a kind of way how the system is looking, or it's integrated into your system. On the left side, you see the axis. That's what we have talked all the time before now, but that's not all. When you buy a Cyto system from us, you not only get the axis itself, you also get the complete drive. And not only the drive, you also get the complete software. So at the end, you get a whole package that you just put into your machine and need to connect it, and that's it. And even you could get from us the electrical cabinet if you like to have it as a complete set, not put it in by yourself into your cabinet. But we have also options, like you can see already a little bit, safety functionality. And we have different grades of safety functionality. And yeah, if you go even to press applications, you know, you have to fulfill some special norms. And in this case, we need also some additional hardware. And that's what you can see a little bit beside the converter left and right. Also, this is then included in the price if you get the package from. The point is also all the sensors. I mean, we have all the, like on Cytobox, all the sensors and actors you need. It's all on the axis, and they are all connected completely to the drive. So you don't need to add anything to your PLC or something like this, or need to think about it. You just cable everything with the drive, and you are ready. The only thing what you need is connect your bus into our system, and yeah, you can communicate via bus system then, and give the command values, read all the feedbacks. There's one thing, like I mentioned with safety. In this case, we require still some digital wires that need to be going to the PLC, but only if you don't have a safety bus system. So if you, for example, have a ProfiSafe or Profinet safety bus, then you could also do it via the bus. Then you even can wires. So at the end, it's a complete package, and that's a benefit compared to a lot of our competitors, because they offer you not the complete set. They offer you in most cases the access, and offer you from different companies, then maybe the drives and the software, and you need to discuss with different companies then about your system. And yeah, we wanted to make an easy, it's not working, so we wanted to make an easy system. I mentioned before, so it started already when we talked to you. So we have a special tool that has all our components. I mean, we are using all our reliable and good Rexroth components to build up the system. So we know our components very, very well. And we have done it all into one tool. And yeah, we need to know from you what is your cycle, and based on this cycle, your machine cycle, we put into this tool with some other questions like, is it a vertical axis, horizontal, and so on, things like this. And all this data will be put in together with you. And from this, directly the right motor, the right pump, and all this stuff is chosen. And at the end, we even ask you what kind of cable, if you want a whole cable set or just connectors or something. So it's a complete system, a complete package what we offer you directly from beginning. And after this, you get a 3D model and also for sure price, and you can order. Like I mentioned, we have about 12 weeks delivery time. Okay, to Asia, because of the shipping, sorry for this, it takes a little bit longer. And on the installation side, I have mentioned also, we are using basically Cytronics also inside, and we're using the PFC software as a position force control system, and that is running on Interworks. And there you're doing just your configuration, like a PID set. But a lot of parameters already are done in the plant. For example, your maximum stroke and all the stuffs, what kind of pump is inside with the limits, these parameters are already stored in a parameter file for your project and sent to you. So you just need to load this and you can start already and can easily set it up. And on the other side, I mentioned we have a closed system. So that means the oil is not getting in any contact with your atmosphere, like in a normal hydraulic tank. So after some time, we require some oil probes. So we expect that you take very simple an oil probe, oil testing, something like 80 milliliters out of the system. That's very easy. It's about once a year. And we not only check the oil quality of this, we also check the wearing. For example, we can see of the material if there is something going on with your pump, for example. But also mentioned before already, we join together, and we are also supporting now Cyto Connect. And also there we are doing the next step and going into the connected world, connected hydraulics. And we support this, in the way that we first have the basic functionality and with warnings, but we will for sure, like I mentioned, with pump reliability and so on, we will have more functionality in the future. So, at last, I just would like to mention about the information of the product, where you can find it. We have also dedicated Bosch website, Bosch Rexroth, .com/cytoforce. You can find a lot of basic informations already, and for sure we have also the dedicated data sheets that you can download. If you have general questions or you are directly so interested and would like to discuss with us your project, you can do directly. You can contact me or our postbox, sha@bosch-rexroth.de, and you get directly to one of our colleagues or me directly. That's so far all from my side. Thanks a lot for listening, and I would like to hand over to the studio.
So we've met the Cytro family. What a revolutionary package from the Cytro Force. And of course, we welcome any questions. Do type them in the chat room for the Q&A box. Let's now bring back the speaker, shall we? Andrew, Linus, and Stefan. Hello again, gentlemen. Because we're going to continue to the next item on our agenda, which is the Q&A section. I was wondering, and I would like to talk to Andrew first, because I saw on your tour, we're a bit disappointed that your Cytrobox doesn't have any beer on it. Andrew, you're still with us?
Pardon me, I was on mute. Yes. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Where is your beer?
Yeah. So we're expecting you get 10 Cytrobox, you come with 1 carton of beers.
All right then. But since this is the last session for our event, we still have more time for the Q&A session, gentlemen, so feel free to hit us up on the chat button. But my first question is actually for Linus. Linus, are you with us?
Yes, we're still here.
Okay, Linus, the first question from our audience is, where do you put the oil tank in CytroFams?
Where do you put it? So the Cytropax?
Yes, yes.
The oil tank itself is more or less the shape of the Cytropax. So the motor drive unit is mounted in the middle, and we have a round shaped reservoir around it that also helps us encapsulate the noise level. In the Cytrobox, we have it inside the bottom cabinet, which Andrew so nicely shown, and there we can easily slide it in and from the back side if needed. But usually we only need to open the front door to access all the drive unit and all the components which perhaps may need service.
And the next question is the saving. Also considering the saving on cooling, how about the reduced noise level?
Yes, so to be more specific, if we're looking on a conventional normal HPU, we're seeing around 80 to 85, I would say, dBAs. But for the Cytrobox itself, we have less than 75 dBA. And I hope you got the examples that I showed. I'm not sure if you saw it, but we actually have a customer. He managed to take away the noise encapsulating walls on top of his machine by replacing the old units to the Cytrobox, because then the noise level in the factory went down so much. And as well, which we showed with example in our colleagues in the gym plant, for the retrofit, they decreased in 12 dBAs from 74 to 62 even with a Cytrobox. So that means we can really keep a quiet noise level. And as mentioned in the presentation, according to the machinery directive here in Europe, anything should need to be under 80 dBA, so we have no problems with doing this.
So Andrew already mentioned that if you have any customer experience question regarding to the customer experience, you could give him a shout out. And I would like to ask Andrew then about the installation. So Andrew, is installation complex with Cytrobox or Cytropax?
Yes. Okay. I would say that designers, users nowadays are no longer required to develop in-depth knowledge of fluid mechanics and technology, and increasingly look for a plug and produce modular. So basically, Cytrobox and Cytropax are ready to install modulars, simply need an electric current and a connections to the control communication. So it is just a plug and play unit.
Andy. And the next question, can Cytropax send parameters data directly to Rexroth IoT Gateway PR21 without PLC?
That can be worked on, depends on the customer requirements. So basically we can, and of course depends on the software, the interface, pardon me, that it can be done. And please, we will need more details that can address this question more accurately. So customers, that you have this question, contact me or Linus or Stefan. We will give you a more in-depth answer.
Sure. Well, we still got the time during our event, but for the Q&A session, unfortunately, that is the time we had. But do stay put, because any questions that did not get answered, we will get back to you directly. And we have now in the room, thank you very much, gentlemen, once again. Thank you so much for Andrew. Thank you so much for Linus and Stefan, once again, for the thorough and in-depth presentation. And we have in the room, back to our studio here, Roland Keller as the Regional President of ASEAN and Oceania. Hi, Roland. Roland, you've guided us in...
I need to unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. You've guided us in. Now please lead us to move beyond.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much to the audience, to our colleagues and the customers that stayed in there. Apologies for any technical glitches we had. I think the good news is it will be on the Bosch Rexroth ASEAN Oceania YouTube channel, so you can go back and look at it again or forward it. Yeah, so we welcome to forward it to customers, to colleagues that you deem that might have interest in driving change in the sense of driving change towards sustainability. And we've seen many examples that help driving this sustainability, whether it is keeping the salt water out of the Mekong River Delta to ensure that the agriculture can go on, or whether it is reducing noise to ensure that people do not lose their hearing because they're operating next to very noisy machinery, yeah? Or whether it is reducing energy, and with this actually ending up with more money in your pocket and reducing the CO2 that is produced to generate that energy at large, yeah, nowadays. So I think these are aspects that are really all driving this sustainability act. Yeah? And when I talk about from yesterday, we had the aspect of the original Rexroth parts, keeping equipment running for the longest time possible. I think that also is a contribution to sustainability. I remember this statement from cradle to grave. Actually, I was thinking there are products, maybe we never bring them to the grave, yeah, because we keep on repairing them, keeping them in the operation. Yeah? And I think that is as sustainable as you can get. So I'm just taking a look at my notes. I think Rexroth stands for technology, very clear, but also in 2015, we've changed the logo. Sorry, in 2016, we changed our CEO. We changed the logo in the course of it. I think it was 2018 or so. So we keep on changing. And only this continuously pressing on for changing has allowed Rexroth to reach last year in 2020 an anniversary of 225 years. Yeah? I vividly remember myself celebrating with Rexroth the 200 years. So now we have 225 years. And I can promise you, we keep on moving, we keep on changing. And I only want to invite you to do it in collaboration with passion, yeah, with your customer problems at heart, yeah, to solve them and drive the world every day into a little bit better space. Yeah, and I think we as engineers, we love doing this. I personally love it. Yeah, and the reward is also, I think, not only in the pocket, but also for our future generation has a quite meaningful one. So with this, I would like to thank everybody for their contribution, for their patience with us, yeah, and look forward to shape the future in collaboration with passion, and stay safe and have fun with it. Back to you, Inga.
Thank you, Roland. You said it well, and congratulations on the 225th anniversary of Rexroth. But unfortunately, that's the time we had. Of course, we would like to thank you very much for your kind cooperation throughout the 2 days event. Once again, Roland Keller, thank you so much. Be well, stay safe. Bye and see you. And of course, we'd like to get your feedback before we end our day on the presentation as well as the speakers. The first question for our poll is, do you find the speakers engaging in their delivery? A for very much, B for so-so, C for not at all. The second question, did you find the presentations explain practical examples and useful techniques applicable to your operations? A, very much, B, so-so, or C, not at all. So if you want to drive change to sustainability, join us in Rexroth. So ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of Hydraulics Tech Talk. On behalf of the committee, thank you very much for your participation and kind attention. Please look out for our next events and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our social media accounts. I'm Inga Laurina Eka on behalf of Rexroth Live, signing off here. Stay safe and see you on the next Rexroth Live. We move, you win!
That's going crazy, never too wrong. Let me taste again.